All right, welcome to this episode of our book read through on Elon Musk, Woke Messiah by Albion. We left off on this page. And it reads, starts off with a heading that says, "Hey Elon, is there a conspiracy you are fascinated by or one that you hope is or isn't true?" Yeah, I would like to know what he thinks about conspiracies and the validity or invalidity of some. Then we got an Albion blurb from 2073 that reads, "There is no dysfunction in the universe, only perfect determination. There is no chaos. Nothing happens independent of universal laws. Everything happens exactly as it is supposed to, religiously obedient. A perfect and divine machine, a model of unquestioned truth. Our inability to see this does not make it false. It merely accentuates our intellectual limits and lack of perception. Even these shortcomings of ours fit neatly within the universe. We may fight nature, but we are nature. Any struggle with nature is only apparent to our eyes. To nature, it is the perfect sequence of cosmic events." Whoa. And then in bold it reads, "Dysfunction in the universe accentuates our struggle with nature." Yeah, he's definitely talked about determination before. So here he's just kind of going back to that same thought. Interesting. Below that, we have a heading that says, "FYI, for your information. If there are ideas repeated in this book, it is because they are important." He definitely does that. "If there are large groups of words repeated exactly, it is probably a result of poor editing." Okay. Definitely one of the things he keeps going back to is kind of not taking this book too seriously, even though some of the ideas in it seem to be pretty serious ideas. Yeah, trying to keep that balance, I guess. Interesting. Next page, ooh, we got a long poem that is in the shape of an X. Oh, it's SpaceX related, but it is entitled "Camp Out." And it reads, "Nature called, she wants to play. I have to go, I cannot stay. Pack up the car from bottom to top, then into my seat I will hop. Far away from this old city, into the wild where things are pretty. Then we'll hike into the trees, guided by the sweetest breeze. And just before it gets too hot, we'll find the perfect camping spot. In no time we'll pitch a tent and wonder where our worries went. We'll grab our poles, then to the lake and catch a fish to fry or bake. We'll make a fire by rubbing two sticks while checking ourselves for blood-sucking ticks. We'll douse ourselves with tons of bug spray, then under the stars our heads we'll lay. We'll fall asleep while sucking fresh air and drift into dreams without a care. We'll be awakened by morning's first light, not too dim and not too bright. To a world of dirt and trees and rocks, a world without those infernal clocks. No brushing teeth or taking showers, just frolicking among the flowers. No television or radio, just endless places for us to go. For us to go, for us to explore. What else could you want? What more? But sadly, Dad is packing the car to take me away, to take me far. So I slowly raise my canteen as I take in this beautiful scene. Nature, my friend, it's bittersweet. Here's to the next time that we meet." Aw, that is, that's a nice poem. And yeah, it doesn't look like it has really anything to do with SpaceX. That just might be some creative formatting, I guess. But yeah, and then this goes back to, he's definitely mentioned the, kind of that relationship people have to nature. And I think in this one, it highlights what we love about nature, especially when we've been separated from it for so long. Next page. Another poem that reads entitled "The Light Side of Dark." Sometimes it sends beauty, you need the light, but sometimes that light shows a frightening sight. Sometimes it sends beauty, you need the dark, but sometimes the dark hides a lingering shark. I guess we are lucky that we have each, for us to learn and for them to teach. And yeah, I think one of the biggest themes we're seeing is like this duality of man, the good and bad in everything, and then kind of how we come to terms with that, maybe. Below that, we have the LBM blurb from 2037 that reads, "It has always amazed me how much knowledge we have. Even more amazing is the inefficient use of this knowledge. We learn, but fail to correctly integrate what we learn. Unwilling to question the validity of our beliefs, conscious ignorance, accepting only information that is convenient to our selfish ends. Truth is often jarring, brutal, and hard to readily accept. To know honest truth is to know this about knowledge. The greatest journey one will ever take is this one, to follow truth regardless of where it leads you." And then in bold, it reads, "Always question information that is convenient, regardless of where it leads you." I like that blurb. That might be one of my favorite ones. Makes you think. Below that, the heading is On Mars, and it says, "The fourth objective students work towards is logic. Students explore logical thinking, logical arguments, and logical fallacies to avoid." That seems like a very good thing to learn as young as possible. So we had reading as the first objective, math as the second, science and kind of engineering as the third, and then logic as the fourth. Those all seem to go in a logical order, pun intended. Next page, we have a quote by Bertrand Russell that reads, when you want to teach children to think, you begin by treating them seriously when they are little, giving them responsibilities, talking to them candidly, providing privacy and solitude for them, and making them readers and thinkers of significant thoughts from the beginning. That's if you want to teach them to think." Yes, I agree with that. It almost sounds like he's saying treat children like young adults, right? They're not going to know everything, but you can definitely treat them like maybe not adults, but maybe not like babies or children. And then when they do have questions, help them through that process and encourage them to think for themselves. Yeah. Below that is the LBN blurb from 2061 that reads, "Talk to me, God, if you dare, but be careful. Please tell me, what kind of divine creature are you? How to know if you are truly there, truly good? And what of your devilish foe, your supremely evil counterpart? Please tell me, does he exist or is he you? Are you a contradiction we cannot understand or comprehend? Perhaps truth only exists as contradictions and illogical enigmas, at least to our dim-witted race, our ignorant species. Surely if you are there, we cannot comprehend you. Is this evidence for or against you? How do you encapsulate a hellish scream in words?" LBM seems frustrated. Looks like he's dealing with some religious inner turmoil. And in bold it reads, "What kind of divine creature only exists as an illogical enigma?" Interesting. Below that, it says, "Elon has created a world in which someone can legitimately use the phrase, 'The fart function on my car isn't working.'" Hilarious. Yeah, I think that's probably, talk about the duality of man, if that's what it is. But I think that's probably what a lot of people appreciate about Elon is how smart he appears to be and how much he's accomplished, how hardworking, But then on the flip side, how he can at the same time take life not so seriously and actually incorporate that into his engineering is pretty impressive, pretty fascinating. And that's where we will finish this episode. Join us for the next episode. And until then, have a great day.